Welcome to the escape room. Enjoy the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Welcome, everybody, to the DIU Escape Crew Podcast. I'm Dom.
He is Dom.
That's Phil.
That's what I've been told.
That's what your mama named you.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Hi. We're going to talk this week, this episode, we're going to talk about escape room etiquette.
Yes.
And even though we don't really have etiquette, but maybe we do.
We do.
We try not to swear on the show, so that's etiquette.
Yeah.
I try my hardest not to. It's really hard not to. We got an article, did a Google search on just escape room etiquette, and there's really not a lot out there. I mean, granted, you get told the rules all the time, and that really should be straight up the etiquette that you need. We went through, and I found this article. It's on everyescaperoom.co.uk. Now, this is our second article out of the UK that we've talked about. On a previous episode, we were talking about 3 articles from David Spira from Room Escape Artist.
Yep.
But this is everyescaperoom.co.com. And I don't know if the guy's name is under it that wrote it. I really don't see it anywhere, who it's from, who wrote it. It's just that it was published on June 6th. Yeah, June 28th, 2021. And it's called Escape Room Etiquette. And whether you've booked an escape room game yourself or are invited to play, there are certain do's and don'ts when it comes to general behavior. Right off the rip, I'm not going to read this whole article, but this is, actually that's all the same right there. Boom, boom, boom. But it does, though most of it, not all of these are just plain old-fashioned common sense, which does, for your maximum enjoyment. I'm just trying to skim through quick. I can all edit this out, which is nice. So first one is, if the sticker says don't touch, then don't touch.
Yeah.
Those are basic rules. They tell you right off the rip what usually is in play and what is out of play, unless you go to Florida and they say something's not going to be above this point, and it actually is above that point.
Yes, way above that point.
But it is what it is. So everyone who runs an escape room game will know why this issue is placed first on the list. Though it might be obvious to anyone with a single working brain cell, maybe this is why the guy didn't put his name to it. The person didn't put his name to it. Kind of calling everybody idiots.
Hey.
But it is common sense. You'd be surprised as to how many people will try and get inside things that are not part and parcel to the game. Electrical outlets, light switches, music players, speakers, and a host of other items are off limits for practical reasons. We've even come across players armed with screwdrivers intent on undoing light fixtures. Actually, we've heard of that.
A couple times, actually.
Yeah, they had a little pocket fisherman or whatever it was, the Leatherman multi-tool. Right.
I mean, I always have my Swiss with me, but I would never take something apart that's not meant to be taken apart.
Right. Purposely.
Yeah.
I mean,
although, you never know. There was a room up in Moose Up that is no longer there that you had to do things like that.
Well, actually, there's a room right in Orange, Connecticut, at Connecticut Escape Games that you actually have to use wrenches to open stuff up.
Yep.
Okay. But they supply you the wrenches.
Right. I think that's a little bit different.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah. Moose Up was, well, why didn't you take the phone apart?
Yeah.
And why didn't you take the handle off the teapot?
Yeah.
And why didn't you open up the light socket?
Yeah. He also labeled the unofficial hardest escape game in the world.
And where's he now?
Doing Smash.
Doing
Brothers
Smash
things.
rooms?
Yes. So,
I mean, etiquette, I think, you have your basic rules, but etiquette goes beyond that. It's kind of like the common sense stuff.
yeah, it is.
You know?
And, going back to this, they come with screwdrivers for light fixtures, which could result in a severe accident. Others will happily spend 15 minutes peeling off the sticker for some unknown reason. I can actually attest to this because I wasn't that I was peeling off the sticker. We were in the room, and I've mentioned this on previous podcasts. We were told that anything with the green sticker you don't touch.
Yep.
We're in the room, and this is one of our least favorite rooms ever, Torrington, where the key fit the door lock, but it didn't move. So, maybe we need a magnet. You put a magnet on it, you can feel the mechanisms. Right?
Yes.
It wasn't until it was after the end of the game, or
After
maybe
the end of the game.
I was spending a lot of time on it.
I spent time on it.
Fred spent time on it.
Yep.
Gary even did, I think,
Yep.
too. It wasn't until after we were done with the game where he said, well, that's out of play. Well, why didn't it have a green sticker on it?
Right.
Okay? And the key fit. I mean, granted, it was probably a Home Depot thing where all the keys fit, it just doesn't unlock. You know? But, there's etiquette on the owner's part that should have been labeled
right.
Do not play.
Yeah, etiquette definitely goes both ways. Definitely goes both ways.
So that's and again, the same exact room thing had a green sticker on it. We didn't move it. Yet he came in and, no, you got to move this. Well, it has a green sticker. You don't touch it.
Right.
Well, it's for this screw. Come on. All right? That's like nitpicking. So, but again, to me, that would be poor etiquette on the owner/game master's part.
Yeah.
But not for nothing, even letting us do that for all of us for a good 5 minutes each.
Yeah.
At separate times.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
that's 20 minutes out of the game right there.
Separately.
Yeah.
But yes. 20 minutes, 5 minutes for each. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah, don't peel off stickers. Don't bring a screwdriver in with you. Actually, there was one room that we did that there was actually a block of wood, not a big block, a piece of balsa wood that locked the door. And there was a way to get it out, but we ended up finding a saw in the room. And I just took the saw and I cut the piece of wood.
Yep.
And at the end of the game, the guy was like, you realize the thing just slid out. I said, then why is there a saw in the room?
Yeah.
With a piece of wood. And he goes, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Well, how else? You see a block of wood there. Now, if you put a piece of metal there,
Yep.
then you would think, yeah, you got to slide it out like a bolt.
I agree.
Okay. So, was that poor etiquette on my part or poor etiquette on their part?
No,
or just
I
a
think
miscommunication
I
of
think
what we were
that's
going to do?
Poor etiquette on their part, where part of the room design aspect of etiquette on their side is things have to make sense. You have to set people up with the tools for success.
Right.
And by doing something like that, it adds to confusion. There's been a number of rooms where something has been loose and we felt like, well, I probably could take that out, but if it's at the breaking point,
Yeah.
is it supposed to come out, or is something going to happen to make it come out?
Right.
And things like that need to be addressed by the game company, the game master or the owner. That's part of your deal of me giving you money. Is things like this need to be right.
The room we just did the other day, we got into the second room finally. We go to open up the door or get down to the door, and there is a hook of some sort. That
A
is
D-ring.
A D-ring, is that what they're
Yeah.
called? Okay. That the whole outside is halfway off the wall.
Yep.
Now, are we supposed to pull the rest of it off or what? And
Yeah.
but no, on their part, it should have been fixed.
Yeah.
So, or a sticker over it, something that it's not in play or something.
Yeah.
We see stickers all over the place of not in play.
Yep.
So, yes, just don't just take anything apart just to take it apart. Really. And really, if it does say not in play.
I mean, we've heard horror stories about people taking light bulbs apart, and people. We heard one story. We were up in Boston where they got into the room, a back room where the electrical panel for the building was, and they started playing with that.
I don't remember that story.
When we were in the apartment building, the apartment room,
Oh, maybe I was.
they
maybe
were
I ran out
they
to have a
they were
cigarette.
telling us about, because of the way
the furnace room. That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember it now.
because of the way that was, you didn't know what you were supposed. But people, they said that they've had people go into a room that was a mechanical room
Right.
for the building and start flipping switches.
I remember that. Yep. But yeah, so if it's labeled, don't touch it. And owners, please label everything that you don't want touched.
Right.
Jump on to the next one. Next headline: don't destroy stuff. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Again, with if it's not labeled, if it says "do not touch," then don't touch. Nowadays, things are made so cheaply
Right.
that it is very easy to break something. Again, we went in. Not for nothing, we're going to be using the room we just did as an example, mainly because it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
But a lot of this has already happened in this room.
Yeah.
So, you're supposed to put, it was a propped piece, a door. You put a magnet to it like you normally would,
Yep.
and it's supposed to open. Well, it was broken.
Yep.
Things are cheaply made. We didn't purposely break it. You don't want to purposely open it and break something.
Right.
Again, that's why they say finger strength. If you
Yep.
can't open it with finger strength, then it's either not meant to be open or, it's going to open eventually. Whatever. We didn't destroy it. The prop was just broken and the latch was inside. And again, we were bringing this magnet all over the room because it was one of the first things we found.
Right.
When we had already opened up that area.
I mean, I remember, and for some reason, Rock Ave sticks in my head, but I don't think it was there, where there was a glass door, and they said that they used to have a golf club in the room, and they had to remove it from the room because someone broke the glass with the golf club, thinking that they had to. And I don't think it's Rock Avenue for some reason.
Avenue, but I vaguely remember that.
I mean, it's things like that. When
Where
you talk about,
you're supposed to use the golf club as kind of a hook to pull something towards
Yeah.
you, I believe. Right, and they were just swinging it around.
and to them, that was the easiest way to get inside a glass cabinet.
Right.
Was to do that. This is what we talk about with etiquette. I mean, it's common sense. Etiquette is don't break the glass.
Right. Now here he says, if the game master makes a point of saying there's nothing in the floor or hidden in the ceiling, then he's not telling you this as a hint or for a clue.
Right.
That's just the truth. There is nothing. Usually they'll say there's nothing above the ceiling.
Yeah.
Because most places it's the drop ceiling wherever you go. Some places isn't, but there's nothing above the ceiling. You shouldn't have to move the tiles to get something. There may be a clue on the ceiling,
Right.
but not above the ceiling. Again, the room we just went into.
And
We're used to hearing no clues behind the walls above the ceilings, so we don't look up for most of the
Right.
time, and there was a clue.
I think part of it on the other end of the spectrum is a lot of times, like you said, they will tell you there's nothing underneath the rug, there's nothing behind the couch. If they don't tell you, and because sometimes there is something under the rug, if you move the rug and there's nothing there, put the rug back.
Right.
That's when we're talking about etiquette in the room. Put the rug back.
Well, that's going to be the next.
If you
subject
move
of
the furniture,
That's going to be the next
put it
subject.
back.
You're jumping ahead. We're at destroy right now.
Well, I'm just smarter than this guy, I guess.
You're jumping into the next thing. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But it says, going for. Wow. Okay, I kind of like this guy already. I can never understand why a player feels they have to break the floor tiles or ruin the ceiling. Going full retard is not going to help solve the puzzles or find any clues. And those are his words, not mine, even though I am very, very rarely politically correct. But
yeah, that's the perfect way of putting it. I mean,
it really is. Keep in mind that breaking stuff can hold up the gameplay as well. So that you don't want to break things. If there's nothing. If it's hung on the wall, like I said, if it's finger strength.
Yeah.
We did the room we just did is a perfect example of finger strength. Things slid easily.
Yeah.
Things slid up easily, out easily. That was finger strength. Now we looked at the other paintings and photos and everything on the wall. You see screws into them. You know the damn thing ain't coming off. So don't freaking try to rip it off.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been occasion like few of the first 50 rooms that we did. Within the first 50 rooms, I think it was the mall. Becca went to go move the door or the sign or something, and it was loose.
Yeah.
So it moved and it fell off.
A poster was on the wall.
And I thought it was
a
piece
picture.
Of metal.
No, it was a picture on the door.
And it fell off. It wasn't supposed to come off. Now, that's not player error. That's actually owner and designer error.
Right.
They should have made sure that was stable.
Yep.
But we weren't purposely trying to destroy it. It just happened.
Now, there's another room that we played where we're in a hallway, and there was a prop in the wall that we had to turn, and the amount that you had to turn it, we both thought was actually to the breaking point. And
riddle room.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna call out the place.
And
I don't
they
care.
said, "Well, no, you got to turn it
force
more." It was either pulling it or turning it or whatever. And I remember
it was not an easy thing to do.
I remember sitting in front of it trying to work this puzzle and saying to you, "If I move this anymore, I could feel it's gonna break."
Right.
And you're like, "Well, don't break it." And then the guy comes in and says, "Well, no, you gotta
pull it."
Yeah.
Well, that's on us. Well, that means that again, that's the design.
Yeah.
It was a poor designed puzzle.
Yeah.
Because it really should just be a lazy pull. Or a lazy push, a lazy grab and slide. It should be finger strength only, which is what 2-3 pounds max. Like not even.
I mean, the joke always is every place you go into, they say, "Well, it's finger strength." And I always say, "Well, your fingers are my fingers."
Right.
But still, I mean, it's a joke, but it is a serious thing because some people are stronger than others, Right. But, yeah, that's...
So, again, don't destroy nothing. Now, something you were going to start talking about before I cut you off. Don't flip over the furniture or climb on it. Unless it is a step stool. Because we've run into rooms where you've had to use a step stool, or we were too short and you have to climb on something because they didn't provide a step stool.
Yeah.
But don't climb on anything. Don't flip over the furniture, especially when they say don't flip over the furniture.
Yeah.
If they haven't said it, then yes, you flip the cushions out of the way. You do this. You move the rug.
Yeah.
You put the rug back.
Yep.
We've done it countless times. There's nothing in the furniture. Now, is a rug considered furniture or is it design? I always just, there's a couch, coffee table. So you're not going to move the coffee table, so why would you move the rug?
Right.
But, there's a clue under the rug. But it says don't touch the furniture. Like, there's nothing in the furniture. Okay, well.
I'm not a big fan of when they put clues underneath the rugs, but, I mean, we have played some pretty cool ones where it ends up being a cool puzzle where you got to fold it and this and that.
Yes.
But... In general, when you're making a puzzle that goes against
some of
the
rules.
Accepted rules,
yes,
it kind of hits you as a little odd when you start doing it.
Right. Again, this is once again we're talking about being destructive for destructive's sake. I understand that. Yes, like we mentioned before,
Yeah.
we went to go move something in the sign, and the sign actually fell off.
I mean,
That was an accident.
If you want to break something, go to one of these smash rooms.
Yeah, go to one of these. Yep,
You know?
100% right.
Go to Home Depot, get a sledgehammer, and go in your backyard and start busting yourself up.
Just start collecting appliances.
And you know
go
what?
into your
There's
backyard.
nothing wrong with going to a smash room.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with going out in the backyard and beating the hell out of something.
You want to break stuff. You want to throw stuff. You want to do that. Go to an axe throwing place too.
Yeah.
That's what it's made for. But yeah, often a lot of the stuff isn't built to withstand any human weight. Let's take South Carolina, Homescape, in Fort Hill, South Carolina.
Yep.
We did the prison room.
Mm-hmm.
They have bunk beds in there,
Yep.
chained to the wall. First thing he says is, do not lay on them.
Yep.
Do not sit on them. They're not made for weight. They're there for immersion.
Yep.
Now, of course, you're going to get some dumbass. Oh, let's see if I can lay on this. And
The reason they're telling you is because someone tried it.
right,
You know, when you see those signs, don't do this, don't do that, put those signs there because someone tried it.
right.
And, you know, going back to like you were saying also, a lot of stuff nowadays isn't built like a tank. It's built cheaply.
It is very cheap
And
stuff.
a lot of stuff that is built like that isn't meant to be used 10 times a day, every day, by all these different people.
Mhm.
So now you're putting it into an environment that is constantly being used. It's bound to break,
Right.
you know?
Right, exactly. I want to just jump back real quick where it says, do not touch, then don't touch. There is no other part of it. Okay, here's one thing. They tell you the rules at the beginning. And like you had just mentioned, you know, it's happened. If they're telling you, somebody did it.
Yeah.
Or it has happened. If you're going through a laser maze, you don't have to get down to your skimpies to
Well, at
go
least the
through
ones
it.
we've played, you haven't.
And they've told us that. Do not take your clothes off because it's happened.
Yes.
Female woman got down to her bra and panties and tried to go through the maze.
Yeah.
So
And when they tell you that, it's because it happened.
it's because, yes, it's happened.
You know, that's another thing is when they tell you the do's and don'ts, and then they play their video, they go through all this. I am a big fan of watching that video. I know you don't like
I
to
hate
do
it. That's boring.
To me, that's etiquette, is watching that video, because it does. Most of them don't, but some of them give you information in it.
We ran into maybe one. That's
And
done
well,
that
you didn't know
worse.
this last room was It was about pirates,
Well, how could you see it when it says no internet connection?
right? But it's, you know, I think for the minute that you're gaining looking around the room, 30 seconds you're gaining looking around the room, someone made it. It's meant to be watched beforehand, you know. But again, to me, that's part of that's part of the thing. Just like for them, it should be etiquette that they know that the video is working, like this last game.
Yes.
Where it wasn't working.
Yep.
You know? That I could see. You know what? It's not working. Go for it.
Right.
You know?
So, yeah, don't climb all over the furniture. Don't do any of that stuff. Don't come to play drunk. I agree with this 100%. I almost want to say don't even come high.
No.
Depending on who you are, because we've played with sober people and not sober
Impaired.
impaired people. Yeah, I don't care if you say, well, marijuana makes me think better. No, it doesn't. You just like to sit there and go, duh, most of the time. But don't show up drunk, especially sloppy drunk. If you had a beer here or there before you got there, it's one thing. Don't show up drunk.
I mean, it is a business that you're showing up to participate in their product. It's a little bit of respect to show up not drunk.
Yes.
You know? On the other hand, you wouldn't want to go in there to the point where you're so sloppy that you're hurting the other game members because you're holding everyone back.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've heard stories. We've heard horror stories about that stuff. Where one guy was so drunk that he destroyed the room.
Yeah.
And he hurt other people.
Yeah.
Again, we've gone with people who were just, high on weed, but they smoked. One guy smoked so much he was just looking around the room like, "Duh, what do I do?"
Yeah.
And he was just there.
Yep.
Another guy smoked. He was right on point with a lot of things. I mean, it's all in who you are and how much you can handle, but don't.
You got
Your best bet is not to.
You got to remember, while you're at these games, realistically, there should be someone watching you and listening to you the whole time.
Yes.
And it is disrespectful. This is their job. That you show up and you're all drunk up or you're all whatever.
Yep.
Because it is their job. You don't want someone showing up to your job all drunk and yelling at you that, or acting like a fool.
Yep.
And, you'd be like, man, I'm just trying to do a job here. I'm trying to do a job. I'm punching the clock. I want to go home. So to show up like that just doesn't work.
And not for nothing, the game master shouldn't have to be a babysitter.
No.
Pay attention, yes, but not. You don't want to have to be forcibly removed or asked to leave.
Right.
Because chances are you're not going to get your money back. You decided to show up that way.
Yes.
And on the flip side of that, game master shouldn't be drunk either. But
and also, again, they can hear and they can see everything going on in the most part. When you get frustrated, just take a step, stop for a minute. When you start MFing this and that and these people are stupid that designed this and what kind of a-holes will put a game, he said, they're there listening to you do this.
Right, you're more making an ass out of yourself than you are the puzzle. And everybody around you. I know there's times I'm like, just F this. But we've learned over the years that once we start getting miffed or aggravated with the puzzle or the whatever, that
the situation
we try to notice each other, just say, take a break.
Yep.
Let fresh eyes go on it. But there's also other times, again, the room we just played. I mean, this room is going to be our prime example.
Yeah.
We went in and we were just frustrated as hell, and we weren't talking loud about it, but I mean, I'm sure they could hear us.
Yeah.
But we were ready to just sit down.
Yeah.
Or walk out of the game.
Yeah.
Halfway through it.
I mean, we weren't yelling and screaming.
Yeah, we weren't MFing them or nothing.
But we were both to the point that, you know what? That's a comfy couch. We'll just sit here for a half hour.
Yeah. But that's etiquette on our part. Too.
Right.
Another one is, they ask you, and, I get upset about this one a little bit. I should say disappointed with this one. Stay off your phone. Almost the very first thing or the very last thing in any intro video when you're in the hallway is, please don't take pictures or video of the room.
Yep.
Okay? I am guilty of taking pictures, but I'm taking pictures to help me with a puzzle.
Right.
I'm not personally, I'm not posting them. I actually delete them as soon as we're done, or as soon as we're done with the room, I'm deleting them. But you have people out there. Stay off your phone. I mean, this is more like if you need to take a phone call, go outside. You need to make a phone call,
right.
Go outside. Whatever. That's what they're saying here, because it's going to screw up your gameplay, my gameplay.
Breaks the immersion.
It's whatever. And you're disrupting the game.
Yep.
But again, stay off your phone. Put your phone on silent.
Yep.
Put it in your pocket, or leave your phone in the car.
Yep.
They have lockers. I mean, personally, I'm not going to leave my phone in a locker. It's just more sense of security on my part than it is anything else, because you do have the key to it and everything else. But I put my phone on vibrate or silent. It stays in my pocket. Okay, I pull out my phone in case I need an extra light.
Yep. If you need print enlarged.
I need print enlarged. I need a picture enlarged. Because we do a lot of rooms, 2 people, and back and forth running around is a pain.
Yeah.
And we paid for the hour. Why can't we use it this way? But what I'm against is all these people that go through and take video of the room and pretty much show you
everything.
They may not show you the answers to the puzzles and whatnot, but I don't want to know that it's a 2 or 3 room game until I get in there.
Yeah.
And they're showing you a walkthrough of the whole room. And then
or there's when you've done so many of them, you get to know what a certain prop looks like.
Yeah. You
don't want to know ahead of time that prop is in that room or that game is in that room.
Right. And you want to do, and this goes more for reviewers than anything else. I mean, if the owners want to go through and make a walkthrough,
yeah,
fine. It's their room, but nobody should be allowed to take video of the room. You want to take a picture? Maybe take a picture of a part of the room that has nothing to do with clues.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the puzzles, which is kind of hard because almost every wall would. But there's parts that don't. There's ways to cover things up.
We've taken pictures in the room with the game master afterwards, and he said, "Yeah, stand up against the wall, just cover this part, so the people don't see it, you know,
right?"
And that's fine. But for what you're saying, when there's a walkthrough online,
it makes me not really even want to go do the room.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're a hot shot reviewer or anything. There should. If it says no video, you don't do video. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the owner says afterwards, because you want to do a video interview. Stand at the counter. Go to the party room. Go into their office.
Yeah.
Do something else besides a video walkthrough of the room that you just played. Because what the hell do you care? You're never coming back to play it again.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, as far as phones go, I agree with everything you said. The only thing that aggravates me sometimes is when the game master is very much on don't pull your phone out at all. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when we pull our phone out, it's to use it as a tool. It's to use it as a light. It's to use it as to magnify something or whatever. And they get mad. Oh, no, don't. We don't want that. I just paid $35 for this room.
Right.
If I want to sit there in the middle of the room and play Tetris on my phone for an hour, I paid $35 for this room. I should be able to do that. As long as I'm not affecting gameplay, as long as I'm not affecting the room to anyone else, as long as I'm not affecting the people around me. Now, I can see if I'm taking phone calls, that's aggravating people. You know what? Step outside.
Yep.
I can see if every 10 seconds my phone is dinging because I got a message coming in. You know what? Put it on silent.
Yep.
Because you'll feel the vibration in your pocket. That's fine if you need to know you're that important of a person.
Right.
But if there's certain things, I can't read this font. It's too small.
I can't read the freaking numbers on a lock.
I
need to see what the hell number is what.
And I think that we're in a society now where we're so far advanced related to our phones that that's our natural go-to.
Exactly.
Now, I've discovered that on my Swiss Army knife, I have a magnifying glass, which helps me read things that need to be magnified. If it was 30 years ago, would that be the equivalent of your phone?
It would be.
They would say, don't take out your Swiss Army knife, don't take out a knife, don't take out the magnifying glass.
Right.
It's just everything happens to be computerized and it's on a phone.
Yes.
So I think if it's used as a tool, I paid for the time. I think that's fine.
And most escape rooms are okay with that.
Yeah, especially where a lot of these escape rooms, either the light that they give you is or the font is too small, or
the font it's in script,
or you can't read the lock.
They don't even teach cursive in school anymore.
When you can't read the lock, or it's down, up, and around a corner, and you can't.
It's in the fireplace under the mantle.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places that I ain't squeezing my fat ass into that I could reach the phone up into, and boom.
You're right.
And I think that's a different story than, hey, let's take a video of this. Look at this cool game that's in here.
Well, it says right here. He said, the person who wrote this article said right here, depending on the individual escape room policy, right? Some players not let players better the room with a phone. Okay, but if they let you, then please leave it well alone during the course of the game. The reason for that is someone on the phone will disrupt you and this and that. Or if you really have to take a call, you do that. You just leave the room, which is they tell you. Another thing to refrain from is taking photos and videos in the damn room. Yeah. And that's exactly what we were talking about. Within the room, and the puzzles and clues. These will only spoil it for others. See, like I said, I've done it as a tool, like you said. I don't show it to anybody else.
Right.
I show it to you. You're in the room with me. Show it to somebody else who's playing the game with us. We even refrain from talking about the room when we see other people in the lobby. Well,
that's another point that I wanted to bring up.
Which that could be right under stay off your phone.
Yeah, which is
because they ask you, we have people in the lobby. Can you just not talk about the room until
you
get outside?
They're playing. A lot of these rooms are right next to another room with a paper thin wall.
Yeah,
and the hallway's right there. People are coming and going. People can hear you, and I know you're excited. You just left the game, and you want to talk about, hey, I saw this in the game. I saw that in the game. A lot of people. I don't know how many people, but I know us, we're known to go from room to room to room.
Yes.
So I don't want to hear, well, yeah, we were in this room and this is the code that we put in here, or this is the wow factor that we saw. Wasn't it great? Or, if you walk in, there's people sitting in the lobby. If they're there while you're leaving, you just know they're going into your room.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Chances are they showed up at your time you're leaving. They're going into your room. Don't ruin it for them.
Right.
Don't walk by and go, hey, when you walk in, there's a button on the right. Make sure you press that first. Or, make sure you get the UV light because there's something written on the wall behind the picture. And,
right.
That's etiquette. And you don't want to ruin it for them.
Right. That's good etiquette. Let's jump onto this next one he wrote. Don't steal stuff. We're not purposely stealing.
No.
Yes, we accidentally walked away with a walkie-talkie. We've accidentally walked away with a 3-digit lock.
Yes.
Or 4-digit lock, whatever it was. It was an accident.
Yeah. Etiquette would be when you open up a lock, put it back in the thing that it came out of.
Yeah. Put it right back in that hook if it can stay there.
Yeah. It's easy for you. It's easy for the people setting the room back up. And no one walks out. Now, when you're in the heat of the moment, the things happen. I'm a big person with the pens.
You're a big person with the pens.
I'm always writing things down.
And you always have the walkie-talkie, too.
And so I put it in my pocket as I'm walking around.
Yeah.
And, you just forget about it.
And the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of walkie-talkies in the room.
Right.
But that's what happens. But, yeah, you don't want to steal anything. The owners of the company paid quite a bit of money to build this room. And, yes, it does cost. Locks aren't cheap.
Right.
Your basic 5-digit or 5-letter word lock it's a master lock that you could scramble and make your own codes, is probably anywhere from $7 to $12. For a lock, that's a lot of money.
I wouldn't even be as concerned of someone intentionally taking that lock as I would someone intentionally taking a cool thing in the room.
Okay.
A skull that's in the room, or a cool prop of some kind, or whatever that you're only going to find there.
Right. Something that may have been printed just for that room.
Right. And they said, you know what? We're only going to be here once. We're on vacation. Let's take this as a memento of our trip.
Right.
And I bet a lot of times that happens.
Right.
Especially in touristy areas. I bet that happens quite a bit. These people spend a lot of money building this thing. Don't screw up their livelihood.
Exactly.
You know, do you really need that memento?
Right.
If you need it that bad, I'm sure the guy will sell it to you.
Right. And actually, we've seen escape rooms that have had something that was from that room already ready for sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, say they used
The cryptics or skulls or whatever.
Yes, exactly. A chalice that was in the room.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah, they have it.
The diamond that you find, the jewel that you find.
Yeah, they've had it for sale.
And the reason they do that is so you don't steal the one that's in there.
Right. There is accidentals. Like we said, we took home a walkie-talkie. We took home a lock. Never did bring home a dry erase pen yet, but almost.
No.
And they do ask you, and sometimes we have to, don't be offended when the game master says,
check your pockets.
Before you leave, can you please check your pockets?
As soon as they do that, I always find a pen.
Yeah.
I always do.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we'll check it. It's when they don't ask us.
Yeah.
That's when we ended up walking away with something. And again, that was by accident. So sometimes you have to be treated like you're a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But don't take offense to it because stuff's not cheap to replace.
You know what? They're doing their job.
Yes.
That's part of their job. Not only are they there to inform you and get you in the game and watch you play the game and help you and reset the room, they're also making sure that you don't take any shit with you.
Yes. Exactly. That was the last thing on this. There's something else I want to add in, and you kind of said it earlier about, mother loving a puzzle or something, like who the hell designed this, and berating.
Yeah.
The person may or may not be there, and I get you frustrated. Chill out. Let somebody else deal with it. Another thing is game mastering. Again, I'm going to use the same exact room that we've been using as an example for the last couple podcasts now. Mainly because it's fresh in my mind, and it has happened.
Yeah.
If you're a good game master, you're paying attention to what's going on in the room that you're game master, that you're monitoring. I can't say this enough that there should only be one game master per game.
Which they had at this place.
Which is what he said they had. I didn't see it. But he said, no, I was only running your game. And he also said it was his first week.
Right.
Well, he's not ready to be on his own. A good game master is going to pay attention to your room.
Right.
I understand you got to take a piss quick or something, whatever it is. But again, they ask us if we got to use the bathroom before we start. Don't you think you should be doing that too?
Yep.
You shouldn't have to get up and greet another group coming in. But you should be paying attention. And within, if it's a typed response when you ask for a clue, we've watched a couple of games where the game master actually already has the preset answers.
Some of them do.
So all you're doing is copy and paste. So you're not even typing. It's just a copy and paste to put it across the screen. It shouldn't take more than about 15 seconds tops to get a clue across the screen.
I
think a copy and paste? Or to type it out, they ask for 30 seconds. So 30 seconds is a long time. You shouldn't have to wait more than, we waited a minute and a half on times where, they tell you to flip the coin over.
Yep.
Well, the coin's over. Well, okay. I would look at the clock, and it could take a good 2 minutes off our time before we even got a clue. And then you say, oh, why don't you ask for a clue? And then all of a sudden it pops up. It's like, dude, what's the point of having this?
I could see it being a minute and a half.
No.
Especially if you have to type it out. I'm a slow typer. It would take me a while.
Well, that's what training's for, too.
What bothers me, though, is if you're legitimately watching the game and you see everyone doing the wrong thing for 10 minutes.
Yes.
Then
nudge you.
Come on and say, no, that's not part of what you should be working on now. That's not part of the puzzle. That's, work on something else.
Right.
And not only this place, we've seen that other places too. Like the door. up in Torrington.
Yes.
You see 4 people go over to this door, and everyone spends, 5-10 minutes on this door. Well, at some point you say that door is not in play.
Exactly.
We were just at this one thing, and there was this one thing on the wall that all 3 of us were positive went with something else, and it just, when we found out that it had nothing to do with that, and we were just wasted our time, I was kind of pissed about that.
Oh, that's when,
because it was such an amount of time that we spent on it.
And that's where you and me both said, you know what? I give up on this room.
It wasn't, hey, we spent 2 minutes looking at it. It was, we spent a good 10 minutes.
We spent about almost 20 minutes just on
going back and forth and back and forth. And it wasn't like one person was working at it. It was, everyone was working together.
On one puzzle. That wasn't even the right puzzle.
Right. That wasn't even a puzzle. It was something, and
it was, but
right.
It wasn't. The way we did it was completely wrong, and it should have came. You're right. You're 100% right.
It should have came after the first minute or so, because it is going to take. People are walking around. They are looking at things, and they're trying to figure things out.
At first, you should. In most escape room, the game masters always say, "Please don't ask for a clue for the first 10 to 15 minutes," because that is your exploratory time.
Yeah.
And personally, the way I look at it is I think you should ask for a clue if you're stumped every 15 minutes if you only have 3 clues.
First of all, I don't like having a set number of clues.
And most places are getting away from that now.
Yeah, I think that's rather silly.
Right.
The most silly thing is when they take time away because you guess or you went over the number of clues.
Yeah.
Well, you already had 3 clues. This is your 4th clue. We're going to take 5 minutes off.
We're going to take a minute off. Or you guessed, so I'm taking 5 minutes off.
Yeah, that is just totally ridiculous.
It's getting off point now, but still, game masters should be paying attention to your room.
Yeah.
And we ran into that. You walked out into a room and asked, where the hell are you? We've been asking a clue for 5 minutes. I did the same exact thing a year later.
Yep.
And people are wondering why we get upset over this.
If I have to walk out of the room and down the hallway to find my game master,
talking to somebody,
talking to another group,
yeah,
there's a problem there.
Right. Especially when I walked out, because when we started playing there, we played every single room. They had 6 rooms there. There was 2 game masters. Okay.
Yep.
We got into that room. All of a sudden, there's only one person working at the place.
Yep.
And they accept walk-ins. Come on.
And for them to say, well, if you told us you did reviews,
that
would have happened.
Yeah.
Well, why should it happen in the first place?
Right. Why should we even tell you who we are?
There's a reason we don't broadcast everyone as soon as we walk in that we do reviews.
Right.
Because we want to see how you treat everybody.
Right. And so game masters really got to step up your game. There should only be 1 game master per room, per game. Another etiquette. We kind of went over that, where if you had to walk outside the room.
I personally think, going back to the clue system, I personally think they should stop the clock when they know you're asking for a clue until that clue goes through.
I can see that. But if they're not paying attention, you're going to waste all that time after you ask for the clue.
Right. Most of them will, not most of them, but a good number of them will, if they have to come into the room to explain something or to reset something, stop the clock.
Yeah, they will. That's
Right. So what's the difference between that and waiting for them to type something?
Okay, yes, but if that's as long as they're paying attention to the room. Okay? Other than that, if they're not paying attention, then they're not going to even know that you asked for a clue, so you're still wasting all that time.
Exactly.
Even when you complain about it, then they should maybe add the minute on.
Yeah.
But some are just computerized. Again, you look at 5 Wits, no game master. They push you through the room, whether you solve the puzzle or not.
Skeleton Key, the one that's not there anymore.
They didn't really push you through the room.
No, but they didn't have, if it wasn't in their system, they couldn't figure it out.
Right.
They had to just stop the game.
Right.
Well, what do we do?
Yeah.
We just got to stop the game.
Yeah. So, again, another etiquette is everything needs to work every single time, whether we trigger it or the game master triggers it.
Yes.
And we'll never. That's our golden rule with escape rooms anywhere. Thank you, Masterpiece in Indian Trail, North Carolina. Everything needs to work every single time, no matter what.
Yep.
And otherwise, it's a bad experience. I didn't even know the room we did the other day. Didn't even know that there was a lock on there until he showed us later. Oh, this is where you put this.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Didn't even notice it. Saw that I could open it, grabbed whatever was in there, and that was it.
Yeah.
And again, carrying that magnet all over the place while we were going. He should have known. Okay, you already used it or something.
Yep.
Again, game masters need to learn a lot. I'll never stop harping about game masters paying attention.
Now the other thing, and I know we did talk about it, but I want to go back to it.
Yep.
Is talking about when you're walking out and you hear other people and don't talk in the lobby because people. The other thing is, yes, there's a wide range of ages that play these games. If you're gonna bring younger children, make sure they're not running around screaming their head off.
Yes.
The whole time.
Yeah.
I understand how big wow factor comes and everyone yells.
Everybody does.
I understand.
We do it.
You beat the clock at a minute left. Everyone yells. After that couple seconds is over, it goes back to being quiet again. Because you are in an immersive environment. But if I got to listen to, 5, 6-year-olds the whole time I'm in there,
Yes.
I don't want to be in there.
Yes.
You know?
I agree with you 100%. No, I see exactly where you're coming from. And that goes back to, not for nothing, you should be able to try to soundproof your games somehow.
If it's possible.
If it's possible. Then you got these corporate places like the ones in the malls and stuff that are just a cubicle with no roof on it, no nothing. And you hear everything around you if there's other people in that room. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be ways to soundproof stuff so you don't hear it.
I mean, I understand it's a business. You want as many paid bodies through that door. But at that same time, the people in there want a good experience.
Right. And right.
And listening to, 5, 6, 6-year-olds, screaming and yelling the whole time. Mm-hmm. To me, I'd rather just not go.
I agree 100%. We haven't really run into too much where we've heard other people in the other room or anything. We kind of hear them, but we don't. Now anyway, when we do, we make fun of it, and especially if it's a scary jump scare thing, and we already played that room, and we know it's coming up, then we start laughing about it.
Well, I mean, it's a different thing if it's like when we were in Long Island and you played that room where
the window in between.
There's a window in between. And, we're joking around back and forth with them. We're all adults in there. We're joking back and forth. I mean, that's a different thing because both parties are on that same frame of mind.
Yes.
If we went in there and I'm joking around with them and the whole time they're like, hey, screw you, we're trying to play our game.
Right.
Then I would stop trying to play, interact with them.
Right.
That's
there to play against each other too anyway. But no, I agree with you 100%. So anyway, that's the rest of this article. It's on everyescaperoom.co.uk, and again, it was written back in June 28th of 2021, and I don't have the author here at all, so I can't give credit where credit is due.
Well, he did a good job. Yes. I like his article.
But the link to this will be in the show notes and everything else when you listen to the podcast. Wow, we're about 50 minutes or so into this.
We're starting to stretch them out a little bit.
As long as we can go up to 225, and it's still going to be shorter than our longest one. I want to tell you guys about our sister podcast now on the podcast network.
Rusty Razor.
Yes, the Rusty Razor podcast, hosted by Designated Dave.
Yeah.
Deacon of the Church of Sinners. Check out his podcast. It's random guests, random hosts, besides himself, guest hosts, and just random chit-chat.
Yep.
About anything and everything that's on his mind at the time. Parental Advisory, there is adult language used, so listen and view as cautiously as you want to. You can check out everything on Facebook, the Rusty Razor Podcast. He also does videos, so check out the YouTube page. Usually he goes live on Facebook and YouTube, and so you could actually watch it, then the podcast gets put up after. So make sure you check him out. Shout out to the Deacon, Designated Dave.
Yeah.
What else do we got? We got swag.
Swag.
We got a lot of swag. A lot of designs. Go to DIUEscapeCrew.com and click on DIU swag.
Swag.
Got the Lurch. They got the Church of Lurch shirt. This is probably one of my favorite shirts. Buddy of ours, Lurch, is becoming a minister, and I had to make a T-shirt for him.
Yeah.
We got DIU Escape Crew swag, Do It Up Productions DJ and karaoke swag, DIU karaoke swag, DIU TV swag, Old School DIU Escape Room Reviews T-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I say it's old school because it's only 3 years old.
Older than today.
But we have Old School DIU TV T-shirt and a DIU Podcast Network T-shirt. Go ahead and check us out on Facebook. Like, subscribe to us there. If you want to ask us anything, you want to get a hold of us, you want to tell us we're idiots and we should get off the air, you want to tell us we're the best thing since the invention of the wheel, hit us up on Facebook through the messenger. Talk to us through there. We really want to. I don't see any comments. I don't use Apple products, so I have no idea if there's any kind of rating or people talk about us, whatever. I don't use Apple. I use Android. So, you guys, and we don't get notifications if somebody wrote a review for us. So let us know on our Facebook page if you like the show and what you like, what you don't like, and we'll even take a lot of constructive criticism. We don't care. You can't hurt our feelings.
Well.
You can't. You just can't. You will never. I don't even know if I have a crying sound app on here.
Well.
Most of the time, we'll just be like, and or we'll be like,
God bless those pagans.
So, but yeah. So, let us know what's going on. Other than that, you got anything you want to say, Phil?
Just if you have any rooms you want us to come out and try, come out and play. If you're a company that we haven't been to and you want us to check you out, let us know. We are not opposed to taking a road trip. We've taken quite a few of them, and hopefully we'll do a few more.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for new places to go, new people to meet, new rooms to play. And just let us know.
If you want to be a guest, on the show, we can do everything remote. I can give you my actual cell phone. You can call us in. We could go through Zoom. We can go through Skype, Messenger on Facebook, whatever is easiest for you, and we can interview you.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's it.
I think so.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. And that's Bill over there.
And that is Dom.
I am Dom. And you'll hear from us.
And that jingling is Milo.
And you'll hear from us when you hear from us.
Peace out.